Madrid, Spain, a breathtaking city filled with elegance, parks, and art. Come join me on this fast and to-the-point tour of Spain's capital city. This is travel, step by step. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Madrid is the capital and most populous city of Spain. The city has almost 3.4 million inhabitants and a metropolitan area population of approximately 6.7 million. Madrid lies on the river Manzanares in the central part of the Iberian Peninsula. Capital city of both Spain and surrounding autonomous community of Madrid, it is also the political, economic, and cultural center of the country. The city is situated on an elevated plain about 300 kilometers or 190 miles from the closest seaside location. Seasonal differences are large by Iberian standards, with hot summers and cool winters. The Madrid urban agglomeration has the second largest GDP in the European Union, and its influence in politics, education, entertainment, environment, media, fashion, science, culture, and the arts all contribute to its status as one of the world's major global cities. Due to its economic output, high standard of living, and market size, Madrid is considered the major financial center and the leading economic hub of the Iberian Peninsula and of Southern Europe. Now that we've gone over some basic information of the city of Madrid, let's start with a tour of the top 3 attractions in the city, starting off with Museo Nacional del Prado. The Museo Nacional del Prado, or the Prado Museum, is the main Spanish national art museum located in central Madrid. It is widely considered to house one of the world's finest collections of European art, dating from the 12th century to the early 20th century, based on the former Spanish royal collection and the single best collection of Spanish art. Founded as a museum of paintings and sculpture in 1819, it also contains important collections of other types of works. The Prado Museum is one of the most visited sites in the world and is considered one of the greatest art museums in the world. The numerous works by Francisco Goya, the single most extensively represented artist, as well as El Greco, Peter Paul Rubens, and Diego Velázquez, are some of the highlights of the collection. Velázquez and his keen eye and sensibility were also responsible for bringing much of the museum's fine collection of Italian masters to Spain, now the largest outside Italy. The collection currently comprises around 8,200 drawings, 7,600 paintings, 4,800 prints, and 1,000 sculptures, in addition to many other works of art and historic documents. As of 2012, the museum displayed about 1,300 works in the main buildings, while around 3,100 works were on temporary loan to various museums and official institutions. The Buen Retiro Park is one of the largest parks of the city of Madrid, Spain. The park belonged to Spanish monarchy until the late 19th century, when it became a public park. In 2021, Buen Retiro Park became part of a combined UNESCO World Heritage Site with Paseo del Prado. The Buen Retiro Park is a large and popular 350-acre park at the edge of the city center, not far from the Prado Museum. A magnificent park filled with beautiful sculptures and monuments, galleries, a peaceful lake, and a host to a variety of events, it is one of Madrid's premier attractions. The park is entirely surrounded by the present-day city. The Plaza Mayor is a major public space in the heart of Madrid, the capital of Spain. It was once the center of Old Madrid. It was first built during the reign of Philip III. Only a few blocks away is another famous plaza, the Puerta del Sol. The Plaza Mayor is a space for people of Madrid and tourists to shop, walk around, eat, and enjoy the outdoors. Now, obviously, this is not everything there is to do in Madrid. This is a very brief introduction to the top 3 things that I would see if I had time to spend in Madrid. There are numerous other things that other people may mention, and some of those things may be, for example, the Royal Palace of Madrid, the Royal Theatre with its restored 1850 Opera House, the 19th century National Library building containing some of Spain's historical archives, and many national museums, and the Golden Triangle of Art, located along the Paseo del Prado and comprising 3 art museums. One we already went over, which was the Prado Museum, but there are others like the Reina Sofia Museum, which is a museum of modern art, and the Thyssen-Bornemisza Museum, which complements the holdings of the other 2 museums. Cibeles Palace and Fountain has become one of the monument symbols of the city. So that's something to also look at as well. Now let's get started on our VR tour. Are you ready? Welcome to Madrid, Spain. So you can see that we're in the general area of Madrid. It looks pretty large. So let's go ahead and zoom into Madrid. Now, there are some landmarks you can already see from looking up here. And one of the landmarks that we can see is the Plaza Mayor, this rectangular shaped plaza. Another thing that we can see, and it's marked here, is the Museo Nacional del Prado, and it's right here. And then this big green space you can see right here. This big green space is the Buen Retiro Park. And so this is another major area that we're going to look at. You may be seeing some other things as well. One of those things that you might be looking at is this building right here, which is the Royal Palace of Madrid, where the royal family stays. And so they don't currently stay at this place at the moment. They live in another place outside of Madrid in the outskirts. But here they do have a lot of paintings and exhibits and things to see that the public can see. It is open to the public. So we will take a little gander at that place as well. But let's first start off with the Plaza Mayor. As I mentioned, it's a rectangular shaped plaza. We're going to tilt the earth down and take a quick look. There are many different gates going into this plaza. You can see there are gates here, and there are gates also on other ends of this plaza as well. There are 3 different levels you can see here. They're like residential areas, and they face inward into the plaza. There are also restaurants that you can see with these tents on the outside, here in the outside area of the plaza. And in the center, you can see a statue of King Philip III, who was one of the kings of Spain. So this is the plaza, and as you can see here, it can get pretty full. It is a major important site of Spanish culture and history. In the past, it has been the site of public executions. It has also been the site of celebrations. And there are even soccer games that go on here. And there's Christmas market. There are many different activities and things you can see. Many people take pictures of this statue. It is quite famous. And it's a great place to come in and to see. I talked about the gates to come in and out of. And here's one of the gates right here. There is another gate right here in this area where you can go in and out of. This is the Plaza Mayor. So let's zoom out. Let's go ahead and look at the next place I want to show you, which is the Prado Museum. And you can see it's this building right here. Let's take a look at the front of the Prado Museum, so you can get a gander how that looks from the front. So this is the Prado Museum. You can see a statue of a man. That man is Diego Velázquez, one of the most famous Spanish painters of all time. He painted many types of people, including royal family and commoners, and is most famously known for a painting called Las Meninas. So this is the Prado Museum. We can look at some exhibits briefly. Here you can see that there are sculptures and statues in a beautiful room with a dome at the top. The signs and everything is in English and in Spanish, of course. It is in Spain. So if you do speak English and you don't speak Spanish, that is okay. You can still get around the museum. And I'm sure that they do have pamphlets and audio guides for languages other than English and Spanish. It is an international museum. Many people come from all over the world and visit. Now, I did try looking for paintings earlier using this Google VR platform. I couldn't find any, but I'm searching to see what I can find here. And I do find some more sculptures. You can see that these are a little bit old sculptures from perhaps centuries ago. And they are still very beautiful and well kept, well preserved, as is everything in this museum. So this is the Prado Museum. The Prado Museum leads, or is very near, to another famous area of Madrid, which is the Buen Retiro Park. And you can see that there are beautiful areas of the Buen Retiro Park. We can come in and take a closer look, a gander, and just take a look at how everything is well manicured. The shrubs, the flowers are gorgeous, different colors. Everything is well manicured and well shaped. People get ready to exercise, they meditate, they walk their dogs, like this lady is walking her dog. This man looks like he's getting ready to stretch or exercise. Yep, it looks like he's doing like Tai Chi or something like that. Not sure. But we move on, and you can see there are gardeners working on the plants here. Everything is well kept. And if you look at this tree here, or these trees, it almost looks like it's shaped like a human brain with the different lobes. Almost like a human brain. And I think it looks cool. Definitely an interesting way to see a tree. But this is an area of the park. We can go ahead and zoom out and take a look at this big lake or pond. So people can rent rowboats and go along this area, this body of water, on a rowboat. And if you are not really the type of person that wants to use a rowboat, they do have solar powered boats as well that you can use in this area. Now, isn't this beautiful? Look at this, the amount of work and detail that had to go to make this is gorgeous. And people rest in this area, take pictures, and just watch people on the boats. I highly recommend coming to this area. There are places for children to feed the ducks. There are bands that come through here. They have many different types of things and activities going on in this park. So come visit this area. Other things that we can see in this area are is a crystal palace. Now, this crystal palace used to be a greenhouse. It is no longer functions as a greenhouse. Now it is an art exhibit where they do show some art sculptures. Most of the time I've seen some sculptures. They do have interesting things. It looks like in this case maybe some, I don't know if it's bones or something hanging, but they do have interesting art going on in this place at certain times. And wow, this lady is very excited. Well, so yes, there are different types of things that happen in this area. Now, I can look at other exhibits that happen in here for you, in case you're curious, because, it's more than just bones. But they do have interesting art. So yeah, this area is pretty interesting. At this moment, doesn't look like there's a particular art exhibit, but at different times, the exhibits change, and they put different things inside this crystal palace. I did see something earlier. They had sculptures in there. I remember seeing it. trying to see how to get... so here we go. Looks like there are some interesting art here. It looks great, actually. I mean, it's modern. It looks like a mix of a tinge of modern, a tinge of old type of painting in the back with modern sculpture here. Very abstract. I don't know exactly what it is, but that's kind of what art is. I think art is very subjective, and that's what makes art very beautiful. We may not understand it, but we come to our own particular meaning of what it is. So great. You can see interesting art here in this particular former greenhouse, the Crystal Palace. Okay, so let's move on to our next spot. Now, we looked at the Plaza Mayor. We looked at the Prado Museum, and we also looked at the Buen Retiro Park. But I do want to show you something very interesting, and that is the oldest restaurant in the world. So I'm going to find that for you. Restaurante Botin. It is considered the oldest restaurant in the world. It can be a little bit of a challenge to find it. But let's see if we can find this museum, this restaurant. Well, this doesn't look like it's it, but it looks very similar. It's a little bit of a challenge to find this place. And this looks like it's it right here. It looks very old. You can see like this back part where people rest, where the seats are resting on. This back part looks very old, like almost like it comes from a church, like an old church. But this is apparently the oldest restaurant in the world. And this is Restaurante Botin. And it's very nice, well kept, beautiful. And you can see it says Botin right there. If you're a soccer fan, then you may want to see soccer games while you're in Madrid, especially since two of the best soccer teams in the world are here in this area. One of the soccer teams plays in a stadium called Santiago Bernabeu, and that is Real Madrid. They play in this stadium. It is a very big stadium, and there's some of the best teams come and play in this stadium. So if you are a soccer fan, it might be a good idea to come and watch a soccer game here. The other team is called Atlético de Madrid, and they play at the Wanda Metropolitano Stadium, which is a little bit on the outskirts of Madrid. So you can see here that this is a big stadium, just like the other one was. And it's a big crowd. Everyone's wearing red. So that's the color of the team, is red. And it's a big stadium and a big team, very famous in Madrid. They're not the only two soccer teams in Madrid, but these are the two famous ones in the city. All right, now one last thing I want to take a look at, and I want to mention this before we finish looking at this tour, is that I want to say that we are not looking at everything in the city. We are only looking at some of the most important things in the city and things that I would like to visit if I had time to be in Madrid. There are plenty of other things to see, but I'm only mentioning some of the top things. So let's see if we can kind of orient ourselves here a little bit. Here we go. So here is the Royal Palace. There are different exhibits here. You can see the royal kitchen as it is right here, well kept like it was for many centuries, the largest of its kind in Europe. And it looks great. It looks like one of those, it reminds me of Ratatouille. I don't know if you ever saw that movie, but it almost looks like what a French restaurant would look like from the kitchen side. But this is very well kept. This is the royal kitchen. They also have a royal armory. They have a royal library. They have a royal pharmacy. You can look at so many different things. I mean, take a look at the art. They got so much art in this place, and it is open to the public. So you can come and see all of this art, all of the tapestry, get a breathtaking views of all there is when it comes to Spanish history and culture related to royalty. There are also frescoes that are on the ceiling of the royal palace. I'm trying to see if I can find some of the frescoes here, and it looks like I found the fresco. And here we go. You can see it clearly that this is a religious type of painting, and most of the paintings in Madrid are religious, and the statues too, because the religious, the Catholic faith is very strong in the history and the culture of Spain. All right, so this has been a very brief tour of Madrid, Spain. I hope you enjoyed it very much. I always enjoy giving these tours for you. And please like and subscribe, share this with your friends. And the next tour that we will do will be Dubai, the city in the United Arab Emirates. So this has been travel step by step. I hope you have a great day or a great time wherever you are in the world. Thanks for watching.